Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
So hi, Ira. I know you're a yoga teacher and you've just recently come out with this book, Om, the Yoga Dog, and it's aimed at children. So first of all, I mean, we can see Om right there next to you. That's Om, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
He's
so tell
sleeping
us,
right now. Yeah.
yeah,
I told him wake up, but he's like asleep during his book launch. Come on, wake up. Anyway, let him sleep for some time.
yeah, yeah. So since we're launching the book here, let's talk a bit about it. How did since you are a yoga teacher, so obviously, and you run your foundation as well. So I think you also work with children. So could you tell us a little about that?
So, I do have a foundation called Namami Yoga where we particularly focus on children and, teaching yoga classes to underprivileged children. But when I was teaching there, it was, yoga is a little, for them, yoga was a standardized yoga class was boring. So I was kept on thinking of ideas to make it interesting. So as I was thinking, I see Om, the yoga dog, doing yoga right in front of me. And so I said, why don't we create this character? Why don't we make this Om into a cartoon and try and really spread the knowledge of yoga through a really fun way? And the reason we called him Om was so that, was that we could keep on saying the word Om, because Om has a lot of positive vibrations of the sound energy. So we said, when you call your dog, you call them, so if you're saying Om, 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 you're constantly spreading positive sound energy as well, which is the reason why we named him Om. So I said, let's have Om the yoga dog, and let's use this guy to help teach kids yoga, because dogs are always doing yoga. If you observe their movements, they're very yoga. In fact, the most common yogasana is the downward facing dog. So it's great.
Obviously, we know where Om, the yoga dog, comes from, but there's also like Pran, the frog, and Moksh, the elephant. Yeah. Yeah.
Om, come back. Anyway,
Yeah.
go. So Prana the frog, frogs have a very, very well-developed respiratory system. They have lungs, and they also breathe from their skin. They have gills. They have both. So
Yeah.
in that way, because that's why the breathing systems of frogs are very amazing, because of their multiple ways of breathing, right? So that's why I thought the best way to represent breathing would be frogs, because their breathing is so efficient. And elephants are such meditative creatures, right? Elephants in general have such meditative qualities. So that's the reason why I chose Moksha as an elephant. So I don't have a pet dog named Prana. I don't have a pet dog named Moksha. I only have a pet dog named Om.
Yeah. So you worked with kids, right? And how has it been? I mean, if you worked with them doing yoga, meditation, so do they take to it easily? What are the questions they ask?
Very easily, very easy. In fact, some meditative practices, like, for example, like sound healing. I mean, kids are so receptive to all of these beautiful practices. They really, really are. So I really feel like parents should encourage kids to meditate, to do yoga in really fun ways, like what the book explains. We're not doing it in boring ways. You have to make it engaging and fun, and then kids will definitely stick onto it.
Yeah, how can you make it fun for kids? Like I've seen in your book, you've written like roar like a lion and things like that.
Yeah, so animals, I
Yeah.
find, is such a beautiful way of making it fun for kids. If you introduce animal sounds, you introduce animal movements, like kids really connect with that. And that's the reason why I really think that animal sounds can be such a beautiful way for yoga and for kids.
So the book, I was just going through it, and it says that it can be read by the child, by themselves, or it can be read, with a parent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, I mean, because the book is actually, there's so many parents who refer to the book actually for their own practice. It's a lovely way to educate yourself and educate everyone about yoga, So, definitely kids can read it, parents can read, they can read it together. But I think Om the Yoga Dog is such a beautiful way to introduce yoga into the kids and parents' life.
Yeah. So at what age do you think a child can start yoga? And
So
what form
yoga,
of yoga?
yeah. So yoga should be started properly after the age of 8. So after the age of 8, kids can do anything adults can do. Pre-8, yoga should be taught as a game, as of something fun. So it should be looked at like a basketball, like tennis, like swimming, like something fun to do. Because if you start using a very disciplined way that, okay, do this, do that, kids will get bored and they'll start hating yoga. So I feel like what happens in a lot of Indian schools, for example, they thrust yoga down the face of children, down the throats of children in a very boring way. And that makes people think yoga is awful and boring for a lifetime. So this is really something that should be avoided. And yoga should be fun. It should be playful. It should be something which is, wonderful for some time, right? Come here, Om. Om, come. She doesn't listen to me these days. Come on. Let me just pretend. Come on.
So can one put on music while doing yoga?
Yeah,
Child
absolutely. I
wants
think yoga is such a good way, such a nice way for kids to get involved in yoga. It's really, really wonderful. I think I use yoga even in all my adult classes, and they love it.
Okay. So tell me, since we are going through lockdown right now, so how can yoga help in these times for children and for parents? I'm sure if they do it together, it's a great bonding exercise.
Yeah. So we do a lot of online yoga, right? My yoga company, Ira Yoga Wellness, we do many classes a day, and whatever classes that we're doing, everyone is doing yoga from home. So when the parents are practicing yoga, the kids are practicing along with them. Like you can see them, they come, they do some yoga, they see their parents practicing. It has a very good subconscious benefit. So what I tell all my students is like, guys, you all are doing yoga, but by doing yoga in your homes, you're actually inspiring your children. You're inspiring your family members to do yoga. So especially during lockdown, yoga has so many benefits for the immune system, for the mind, for the breath. It's so important. And even if kids just do a few asanas, just for fun, and after the age of 8, they can definitely do it more seriously. It becomes very, very good. You can teach kids how to connect breath to their movement. And just that basic practice is something beneficial for their life.
I think the lockdown is also a time of anxiety. Even for children, they may not be able to express what they're feeling, but I think it is an anxious time even for them. So I guess meditation would help, right?
A few minutes of meditation with music. Just say, close your eyes, listen to this nice music, something soothing. Maybe their favorite songs. One of their soothing favorite songs they can listen to. If it's a Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, just say, sit in silence and tune your mind into that. Even that is meditation, right? That's concentration, which is the first step of meditation. So even basics like this can really, really help. And yes, this is an anxious time for kids because kids aren't able to go outside. They're not able to play. They're stuck in between four walls. It's very unnatural for children. It's like having Om. Oh, sorry, Om. Sorry, Om. I just touched his ear. He has sensitive ears. So it's a very, very. It's even for people like Om. For dogs like Om, it's stressful because Om is like if he's not able to go outside, he becomes unhappy. He needs to go outside for a walk at least a few times a day.
Yeah, you've also spoken about the importance of mindfulness, concentration, being present in the moment. So I think it's a good thing to teach children at an early age.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and for parents who are worried about exams, you also stressed that it's good for exams and results as well.
It's very good. It's really, really good for exams. It's really good for results. It's focus and concentration, right? If kids can focus on their breath, they can focus on anything. The breath is so subtle and it's very difficult to use that to focus. So definitely, I think that's something which is hard to do.
And your book, the asanas and the meditation and the other things that you've spoken about, does one need to be familiar with yoga, learn it from a teacher first, or can one just start with the book?
No, you can start with the book. The book is meant to be a way to generate curiosity into yoga. So if for your kids, when they see Om doing yoga and develop curiosity, you'll see little kids will want to color in the book. Slightly older kids will want to do the postures. So I think it's something which is quite interesting, and I think it's quite fun also.
Yeah. So tell me, if you had to pick one thing in the book, just one thing which kids should follow with their parents, what would it be?
I would say in terms of asana or practices.
Which one? Sorry.
So it's one thing to follow in terms of asana or in terms of practices?
Anything. I mean, if it's just meditation that they should do, once a day, or
I
if it's
think the one thing that the book can teach people is how to connect breath with their bodies. So having awareness of the breath is very, very important, right? And just this much is a starting point to a lot of change. So I would say, if nothing else, if we can teach kids how to connect their breath to their movements, however subtle those movements are, that can be something very, very beneficial.
And while we're talking about this, could you also talk about the importance of, controlling one's breath, observing one's breath? What does it do for you?
So let me give you a very simple formula. If, you know, what happens when you're angry or you're stressed? You hold your breath. When you see little children, babies sleeping, what do you see? Their breath, their stomachs are moving, such, in and out, such deep breathing, right? When we're sleeping, what do you see? You see the belly is moving because you're so relaxed. You're doing such deep breaths. So breath is directly connected to our emotions, right? The breath is directly connected to our mind. What do we do when, you're really, you hold your breath, first thing that you do, right? So you naturally take a deep, when you're done with something really difficult, what do you do? Lie back and let's relax, right? So that's so typical. So a very simple formula is, if you can control your breath, if you learn how to control your breath, if you learn how to have the breath in your hands, you can control your mind. And if you can control your mind, you can control your life, right? So this is the very general formula that we can follow. And that is why connecting the breath to the body becomes so important.
So it just makes me think, like, suppose a child is scared and he's holding his breath. How do you calm a child down using, a breathing technique maybe?
You just tell them that you start putting the habit into them to observe the breath, right? This is all about habit. So even for adults, what does yoga teach them? It teaches how to connect the breath to the body. So you become more aware. You become much more aware of your breathing. You become much more aware. You start breathing better. Even in general, you're taking much deeper breaths and much better breaths. So yoga teaches you all of this. So I would say, just use the breath to control the mind and use the mind to control the body.
Yeah, no, I mean, if a child is panicking about something, or he's, in a moment that he's panicked, then how do you calm the child down, Is there
I
a technique?
would say that ask them, I mean, there's no specific technique. There's no specific technique. I would just say, like we do with adults, you ask them to breathe, right? So let's start breathing from your abdomen, close your eyes, and just take longer breaths and do it with counting. Like what Om the Yoga Dog and Prana the Frog actually teaches is count the in-breath, counting along with your breath. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. So use counts along with the breath to make it more regulated.
Okay. And you've also given sessions, right? Yoga sessions, you've listed it out. So I think it starts with 20 minutes to an hour, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how much time do you think ideally parents and children should, do this together daily?
So the longer the better, the better, obviously. But start with something which is doable. Don't start with an hour and then just get off the bandwagon. It's better to start with something small and then to stay on with it for a longer time. That's really important.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say to parents and to children?
I would say that International Yoga Day is coming up, and this is a beautiful day to start your yoga journey for yourselves, for your family members, for your children. So try, make yoga something fun, make it family time, yoga time. A family that does yoga together stays together. That's really how it is. You exchange beautiful, subtle energies when you're doing yoga. It's a very powerful practice. And include your pets as well. Include your furry best friends.
Yeah.